All right. Welcome everyone to our product announcement. And for where that sound is coming from. Um, Hold on one second. Man, you still hearing that sound?
I hear a little bit of feedback.
Sure.
Is it me? Do I need to?
All right. So I think I figured out what the problem was. All right. So thanks everybody for joining us. I think we've got some interesting stuff to cover off on today. We keep John uh, in a dungeon someplace over the holidays, and he has done a lot of great work. That's his dungeon behind him. We put the little fake background so you can't see that he's in a dungeon working. Um, and I think we've come up with some really good product enhancements that we want to talk about for January. We've got a bunch of stuff that's coming up um, over the next month as well, and so stay tuned for some of that. And yeah, we'll get going a little bit. Um, what we're going to cover off on today is a few things. First of all, we just made an announcement yesterday that the prompt libraries are now public, and so um, one of our hypotheses in why we have prompt libraries is that people need better starting points. That all of us are confronted with a blank prompt window. And if you're just getting into AI, or if you're addressing a new use case, and maybe you're a more experienced Gen AI user, what's possible and what is the art of possible? That's part of what why we have these public prompt libraries that are categorized and tagged, that you can evaluate and rate and use for the work that you're doing. And so we're I think we showed last month that you can fork those off, and if you subscribe to the site and you're within the context of an organization, you can put them in your organization's prompt library. And then if you're an individual user, you can favorite and also fork off into your own and maintain your own prompt library. And so um, there's there's a lot of functionality as you log in, but we wanted to expose people to some of the great thinking of what some of the current customers are doing in terms of prompting. Prompting becomes the basis of a lot of the AI building that we do after that, including with chatbots. We did go over some of the chatbot stuff last time. Um, as we head into the next couple months, we'll probably review some of that. We're also going to talk about agents and blueprints, which have an agentic component to them. So we'll be leveraging the things that are happening in prompting to drive some of that agentic thinking and work and those tools. But certainly the prompting drives the system prompts are driving the chatbots too. So the the prompt as a centerpiece of what's happening is pretty important. So just to just to note, what we're talking about in terms of the public prompt library, um, it's right here, and uh, it is categorized across lots of different categories. We have different types. You can sort via most popular, or what's viewed the most, or what's the highest rated. You see some of these are being rated, and it's got a keyword search. And so it's like 12 on a page times 150. Someone who's better at math can sort of tell you how many prompts we've got in the system. But that's a great starting place, and there's lots of great starting places for you. Keep in mind that you can use your LLM or Gen AI of choice. You can click the button, open it in your Gen AI of choice. As you become a logged in user, you can run the prompt within the system, and etc. And so, public library for prompts now open. We anticipate some public libraries being more robust over the next couple of months, including maybe one with public data. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. So a lot of the emphasis today, I think we're probably just go about a half hour or so tops, is that we have made some, I think, enhancements to how to think about building your prompts, how to collaborate with prompts, and you'll see a lot of AI ads that John put into the platform from the dungeon over the holidays. And so I'm going to cover off on one of those, and then John's going to cover off on a couple things as well. So so we have the prompt libraries, but I can create a prompt, and there's a new process for that. We're giving you some templates to start from. And so if you wanted to, for example, have use your LLM to be generating content, you wanted a starting place for that, or coding assistance or system prompts, we've got some starting points. And so I'll do sort of content generator, and what I'll do is I'll change the template a little bit, and I'll say blog generator, and generate high quality blog content. I think what I'll do here is generate a number of blogs based on social impact and AI. So this is clearly starting to become a bit of a system prompt. And I could adjust some of these requirements just to say that there's a button here that if you want some suggestions about how to improve the prompt in real time, that we now have a mechanism of AI supporting your building of AI. And so that's what this is, and it's going to give you some explanation, and then give you a much better prompt here. So I'm going to click apply. I am going to need to take out some of the explanation, but it's giving me that as context, and this is a much better prompt, right? It's saying, giving the AI a role, it's giving it the proper context, it's giving some instructions about what I'm looking for in terms of blogging, and it's doing I think a pretty nice, more complete job, right? Remember, I just put in a couple of lines, and it's now giving me a much more robust prompt, which you're then going to have much better, a much better experience with the AI as a result. So I'm just going to create that prompt, and you can see sort of what it's done, and sort of putting different steps in place and things like that. So feeling pretty good now about the quality of this prompt. And again, I can run this prompt sort of either within the system, and it's going to find the input variables that I suggested, whether the number of blogs, titles, focus areas, or again, I can run this in any of the LLMs that are the leading LLMs that are out there. So that is the improvements we've made to the prompting experience from an individual's perspective. Now I'm going to hand it over to John, and John's going to cover how some of the improvements we've made in the um, prompt collaboration, AI building collaboration process. And so John, let me hand it over to you, and we'll go from there. Oh, can't hear you. But
Yep, I was on mute to make sure I wasn't doing any background noises.
you don't want to hear any of the dungeon noises and behind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the shackles when
Yes.
they.
Right.
Yeah. So, thanks, Stephen. I appreciate it. Good pieces of information there. So what I did was I went through and I created a prompt as well. One of them is just, I used the exact same tooling that you did, and the other thing that was nice about what you did was you didn't even use a template, and it still it still looked for, the keywords that had the double braces around them, and kept them as optional things that for you to replace. And similarly, when we write the prompts, there the idea is to share and work with these prompts together. So for this example is a prompt to build a website, and the idea is that you're an expert, prompt, website builder assistant, and it's got to go through the steps of suggesting different places, different things to do it. But there might be things that you want to change on it, or some expert might want to make recommendations, right? So instead of going with basic HTML, we might want to go with, this should be and so what happens is somebody might come in and recommend that you use React and Tailwind instead of HTML and CSS, and then suggest the verbiage, um, you know, um, use React with the TypeScript and CSS. And then what the expert can come in and make a recommendation to, so that we've got the ability to annotate. It hasn't actually changed anything at this point in time. And because I made the annotation and I'm the owner of the prompt and I can edit the prompt, if I get a notification that, that, hey, somebody's annotated one of my prompts, then I can go in and say, oh, yeah, we probably should reuse React with TypeScript and Tailwind CSS. I can actually accept or reject right from the annotation that I can view on the side. If I hit accept, it goes through and replaces the content. So now when I go and see it here, it should be, it should replace the content for that. So let's see if yeah, as you can see here, it says use React with Tailwind and CSS skeleton code for homepage placeholders and content variables. So now it's actually taken the change, and I can save the change, and then all of a sudden, well, let me reload this so I can pull the changes. So now it says you use React, TypeScript, and it's pulled the changes. It's and so what's great about that is it's created these different versions, right? So now I can go back to the original version of this, which was create a website, and then I use the improve AI to do from there the same thing Steven just did. I use that improve AI to create the prompt, and I can go back. Um, you know, oh, and then there we go. And so not only can we annotate, we can actually go back to different histories. This should take me back to the one that we just did, right? So the more recent version. Um, and then similarly, there's a run history. So if we go to run the prompt, and we want to put in project name of like uh, you know let's see, let's see, find target audience is everyone. Topic is fish are tone is fun and light, fun and light, and then any key features. Clown cars. And so now we can run the prompt, and it's, as you can see, it's added in the different types of information wherever the Finding Nemo, fish are friends, not food, is the main subject. Everyone's the primary user group. Fun and light, as far as the tone, and then clown cars is a core feature to highlight. So what this should do is go through and create the code, or create the inform the for this, and as we may not have time for all of it. I'll kind of show some of the other pieces of this while we wait for
Hey,
this.
John, while we're waiting, I got a
Sure.
question from the crowd here, from our audience.
Oh,
David Clark asks, "Is there any Git integration with our platform?"
there's no Git integration at this time, right? I think we originally we're going to go with every prompt as a project and have a deep Git integration, but no, not at this time.
I think it's a good idea, though, as we get to the sort of the workflows or tooling that we're sort of rebuilding the what's a blueprint. It might be something that at that point we consider, but it's a great call out. John, do you want to? I'm not sure where you're at, but do you want to show? It looks like you're about ready to show our AI sort of chatbot integration, which would be awesome.
Right. So yeah, and to, after this runs, it'll basically give you the code for that. Yeah. So some we there are plans for a Git integration, or well, Git, and then some of the other coding environments as well. So if we want to leverage a way to create if we want to leverage the way to create uh, some of this stuff. Hang on a second. There we go. And so here's the all the pieces that it created for the website. Sometimes we get network errors. So so we it's got a bunch of different suggestions. It's created even the code to create it, and as you guys might notice, it's running React, TypeScript, Tailwind, the CSS code, and this is giving us something we could actually go and pull into another system. So anyway, to kind of get back to one of the things, the other thing we can do is we've started to add an AI assistant to the site. You know, because obviously it's kind of what we do, and it's kind of how we work at times. This is you know you know you know a good way to help kind of navigate the site. So it gives you, different pieces. So if you're like, how can how can I build a prompt? And it gives you, a little bit of suggestions. Be specific about the prompt that you want to write. Provide context, the information about that, and then it'll take you, either to browse templates or create new prompt. And then create new prompt right now goes to, the templates that we've already got, and it lets you start to go directly through. And in future, future enhancements, we will have it be able to stay open, and then you'll be able to keep going to different pieces within it, and it'll help you guide you through the process. But right now, we're making it so that it at least points you in the right direction.
That's great, John. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot of hope for um, that slide out. In some ways, becoming agentized on the platform and being able to um, help you in your building process, and in fact take on parts of the building process for you. So it's a first step to get us there. And now, if you're running into an issue with, hey, how do I do this prompt better or well, between the AI integration in the content box and this chatbot slide out, you should have lots of support, right? Lots of AI support to help you on that journey. And John did a great job covering off on working with other human beings on prompting, and we really do think, and that's a big part of why we're not seeing some of the productivity gains that were expected. Everyone's off prompting alone. Um, and so we've added these elements: prompt with the support of AI, prompt and collaborate with others, go back and forth, do a couple revisions, get it to a production ready place, that this is the prompt we're going to use, for this specific activity. And it's had the mind share of the team, and the edits and changes from the team and comments and all of those things, right? If we do it on the annual report in a Word document, or we do it even on a less important Word document, why, or PowerPoint presentation or spreadsheet, why not do it on a prompt too? That's going to be it's going to be driving a lot of the work moving forward, as we all know, in ways that might be even beyond some of the office productivity stuff that we use today. And so, how do we collaborate on that? I think we've got some things figured out there. So please take advantage of those. Tell us what's working for you. Tell us what's not. I'll send a message down to the dungeon, and John will get some of that stuff in, and more to come next month. Thanks for joining us.